Well, heat is a terrible thing, which a lot of people don't understand, okay? We're all supposed to throw our arms up in the air, get down to the beach, look, it's a beautiful sunny day, without realising the absolute terror it causes to a lot of people. For instance, I can't walk in sunshine for more than 30 seconds because my eyeballs actually get sunburnt. So although I haven't got my special glasses on tonight talking to you, Dan, I have to have a special pair of glasses on, which change with the darkness related to the amount of sunshine coming into my face, just so that I can see. My skin crawls. I get skin rashes. I feel uncomfortable in heat. Now, if Adam's saying that I'm just being prissy and fussy and oversensitive, I would say this to you. If you run a pub and you want people to be there in comfort and in safety, then provide half of your outdoor areas with shade, because shade is what keeps people comfortable. Shade is what makes people feel they want to be there. And a lot of people in this day and age are bullied into sitting in sunshine with their friends, because if they don't, they're called a weak person, somebody who doesn't like the sun. We only get 10 days of sun in this country every year, so enjoy it. I can't, because it's detrimental to my health. Everybody knows I've got a dodgy ticker. Only 1/3 of my heart works. You want to kill me by putting me into sunshine? I wear this hat at all times. I wear my sunglasses, and I want shade.
OK, so Adam Brooks, why do you have such a problem with providing someone like Mike Parry shade in your pub beer garden?
Look, I've just had a so-called a pergola built in my beer garden, which I've got about 6 or 7 benches underneath it at the moment. It's a lovely wooden structure. I've got shaded areas. I've got umbrellas. But this ridiculous notion that, you know, that the state is here to protect people's lifestyle choices, you know, Mike should know better. I thought he was on the wind-up, and a lot of my Twitter followers were saying to me, don't bite, he's just trying to, you know, get a rise out of you, he's on the wind-up. But he's not. It's utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
You're serious, and, Mike? This isn't a wind-up?
Look, I'm absolutely serious. I was asked to go and cover the World Cup this year in Qatar, OK? I was asked to do it for a number of organisations. I simply can't do it. The amount of heat in Qatar, 40 degrees centigrade and all that, means it's impossible with my physiology to do it. Now, if I can't do it in Qatar, why should I have to put up with it in this country? Let me ask Adam this, OK? You know full well that if people suffer from the cold in winter, they get government payments to keep them warm. So I want to know why in the summer, when I suffer from heat stroke, why aren't the government giving me a payment to pay for my air conditioning in my penthouse flat to keep me cooler? Surely it's the same, isn't it? And I deserve the same consideration as anybody else.
OK, let Adam answer.
It sounds like you should. It sounds like you should never leave that lovely penthouse flat, mate. You're sounding absolutely ridiculous. And do you know what? If you read the replies to the tweets that I did to you, right, you were being mocked, mate. And you know, you're a grown man, and I'm sorry that you've got these conditions.
Mocked by the ignorant. Mocked by the ignorant. People don't realise heat kills. Heat kills people. It kills old people. It kills people who can't cope with it. Oh, that's very funny indeed. Are you going to give me one of those, Adam?
I'll buy you one. I'll treat you to one, mate. All right? But no, listen, at the end of the day...
I could get one myself. Why should I make a fool of myself walking around with an umbrella on my head? All I'm asking for is consideration. If you provide a service, as you do, in a public house, then I'm entitled to say, serve your customers what they want. And what I want is some consideration and a bit of shade. That's all.
Adam?
Can I speak? Right, at the end of the day, my pub garden, it's a choice if someone wants to come to the pub. Of course, I want as many people there as possible. I provide shaded areas. But this notion that there should be a law to force me to do any more, do you know how hard this game is already? Right, I've got a pub garden that's the size of a football field. Right? Can you logistically tell me how I'm going to cover half of that? Who's going to pay for it, Mike? Me?
No, you are serving your customers. Your customers don't all like being sat there in the sunshine baking.
So,
And
who pays
remember,
for this shaded area?
remember,
Come on, man.
I'm not getting prissy here.
Sound
When
ridiculous.
people have nothing but sunshine on their skin, it can be dangerous for their health. We all know that.
Let me just
we all know
remind
that
you.
skin cancer is a big problem.
Let me just remind you of what you tweeted in April last year. You said, "Okay, folks, it's getting more and more like Sundays we used to know. A couple of pints in a pub garden in the sunshine, and then back home for a joint fillet beef, red wine, and all the trappings." So does sunshine suit you one year and not the other?
No. Listen, I didn't say I was sitting in the sunshine. I said the sunshine in the garden, but you can bet your life, Adam, I was in the shade. I went to a pub where a responsible publican allowed me to get under the shade of an umbrella. I remember it well.
Okay, I guess the thing is, Mike, right? I completely understand that you have issues with heat, and I understand that for a lot of folk, the heat is a really worrying thing. But surely you have a choice, Mike. You have a choice to research which establishments you go to, because there'll be certain restaurants that provide air conditioning. Now, I know for me, in a heat wave, I only want to go to a restaurant that's got air conditioning. So I'm much more likely to visit if they advertise on their video, you know, like my local Indian says, we've got aircon, we're going to turn it on. I'm going to be more likely to go. That is my choice.
Yeah. Very few establishments in this country invest in air conditioning because they say it's only 10 days a year. Now, Dan, if you don't mind, it's your show, so I'm not going to contradict you, but you're an Antipodean. And in your genes, in your chromosomes, you're used to hot weather. You don't really think that it's hot in this country because your ancestors have been brought up in countries where there's never any shade.
No, I hate the heat. I hate the heat because I'm actually a British citizen. I was born in New Zealand, but all of my family were born here, and they can't cope with the heat. I mean, I remember my grandma growing up. She was born in Essex, and in Adams part of the world. And when she moved to New Zealand, oh my goodness, she could not cope with summer. So no, I have the British genes. I don't like the heat. I hear you about the air conditioning, but I just don't believe, Mike, that it's the government's role to provide you or me with air conditioning. I think we've got to pay for it ourselves. I think businesses have to pay for it ourselves. I don't think the government can afford these sorts of hands-ups that would bankrupt the country.
Excuse me, Dan. I'm just going to wipe away a bit of perspiration. I've had to turn off the air conditioning in my apartment because your engineers said it was too noisy for the microphone I've got in front of me. So that's why I look like I'm suffering a little bit.
We've got aircon issues going on in this studio too, Mike, so I feel your pain. Adam Brooks, final word to you.
Look, people have got to stop thinking that there has to be more laws and more rules to control their lives and protect them, right? What does Mike want next? A law that means that I have to put on, SPF on his forehead before he orders a beer. We are getting into arranged territory. If you're not comfortable in the sun, stay in, Mike. Stop trying to force other people to do things. It's the same with the COVID rules, and it's the same sort of people pushing it. What next? Weather lockdowns?
They'll be coming. Loads of people don't want to go to work now because of the weather.
I would say to you, cater for your customers or you won't have customers, and don't ignore the obvious.
Okay, great debate. That was broadcaster Mike Parry, the entrepreneur and activist Adam Brooks, who'll be back on the Superstar panel tomorrow night. Who do you agree with? Who's going to win this one? We're going to solve this debate once and for all. Should the UK introduce mandatory shaded areas for outdoor premises such as pubs to protect Brits from heat waves? From Alan on Twitter. No. The UK government should stop meddling in our lives and concentrate on keeping their MPs in a straight line. We, the public, don't need a nanny state looking after our needs. We use common sense. From Ali on Twitter. No. Leave it to individual pubs. If people want shade, they can go inside or find another pub with shade. And from Karen, yes, for people like me, who for medical reasons need to hide from high UV sunlight. And your verdict is now in. Oh, my goodness, the result. Just 12% of you are with Mike Parry on this. Oh, no, 88% of you with Adam Brooks. I enjoyed that debate, though. And I do feel for Mike Parry, get that air conditioning back on because, believe me, I need it right now.